Hello fellow minis! Clash Mini is getting an update sometime. We don't know when. It could be this week, it could be a month from now, but we do already know a lot of important stuff coming to the game thanks to the small talk video that was released on the Clash Mini channel. I'm just gonna start this video by saying that these changes, they're excellent. I'm really excited about how the progression is going to feel so much better in Clash Mini. Let's start off with the season reset. When the Clash Mini season resets, it sounds like everybody, no matter how many trophies you have, you could have 5, you could have 27,000. It sounds like everyone's trophies are going to be reset all the way down to 0. I don't know that for sure, but it sounds like that's what's going to happen when the developers said that they wanted to give new players a chance to compete against the champions for the previous season. Personally, I don't think this is a great thing to do for every season moving forward, but for this season reset, I think it's a good call because the developers are making so many different improvements to the ranked trophy progression system that it makes sense for everybody to start over fresh so that the developers can get some feedback from all players that are currently playing the game to see how it actually feels. Next, let's talk about the end of season rewards that you will be getting. At the end of the season, your trophy count, like I said, is going to be reset, and you'll get rewards depending on the highest rank in the last season. So if you were in the top 10 ever at any one given point, you will get more rewards than if you were in the top 100. And if you're in the Legendary League, you'll get more rewards than if you were just in the Grandmaster League or other lower leagues, right? The Master League. We don't know exactly how many rewards you'll end up getting at the end of the season. As you can see right here, they actually blurred the gems and the crystal coins, but we do know we will be getting the crystal coins and gems for this. So if you are playing Clash Mini, you're able to, I recommend pushing as high as you possibly can before this next update so that you can get as many free rewards as possible. Obviously, the gems are going to be great, but the biggest source of crystal coins in Clash Mini will be this season reset, which means that this is your opportunity to get some exclusive crystal coin skins. There are currently only 2 in the game, and a lot of people maybe only already have 1 of them, but there's a very good chance they'll be adding more with this update that you're going to want to get your hands on. Now, that is the first reset that is going to be happening. The second reset is actually to your mini collection, not your heroes. Your heroes will stay their same level, but minis. There's an opportunity for them to be reset. At the end of the season, you will have the ability to opt in to reset your mini collection, okay? Not everybody has to do it. You don't have to do it, but you will have that opportunity to do so. And just to clarify, the developers have said very clearly in the past that if you have unlocked a mini, you will keep that mini for sure. It'll just be a 0-star mini, okay? So in other words, if you have a 3-star prince and you opt in to reset your stars, you will keep a 0-star prince and you'll just have to unlock more duplicates in order to get that prince to 1, 2, and 3 stars. Now you might be wondering, why should I actually reset my mini collection? Like, what's in it for me? If you choose to opt in to reset your mini collection, you will get a magical star chest. I think that's what they're calling it, the star chest. So, what are you going to get from the star chest? Well, we don't actually have exact numbers. All the numbers that you see right here are a work in progress. And it showed crystal coins, but they actually didn't mention crystal coins, so we might not even get crystal coins. But if you have a max mini collection right now, resetting would give you 15,000 gold, 120 hero fragments, 45 mini fragments, and like I said, 120 crystal coins, which we may or may not end up getting. I just wanted to stress the importance that this is all just a work in progress, and we don't know the exact numbers. We'll figure that out later. You're probably wondering if it's actually worth it for you to reset your minis based off of the numbers, even though they're only work in progress. Well, here's how the numbers work out, okay? Right now, if you have a completely maxed out mini collection, that is the equivalent of 154 mini fragments. Because you end up getting 45 mini fragments back, it's like you lose 109 mini fragments. That sounds like a lot, but you trade those in for 120 hero fragments and possibly 120 crystal coins, but most importantly, 15,000 gold, okay? Based off of those numbers, I would definitely say that it's worth it, at least in my opinion, because minis are not the limiting factor when it comes to overall account progression. Hero fragments and gold are the limiting factor. So even though you might not want to give up your max mini fragments, in the long run, you absolutely should, because it will theoretically help you max out players faster in comparison to players who do not opt in to reset their mini collection. I say theoretically because it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. And that's because the developers are actually shifting the progression system a little bit when it comes to actually upgrading your minis. We don't know the exact specifics, but from the sounds of it, it's going to require more mini fragments for you to upgrade a mini to 3 stars than it did before. They're going to make up for that by giving us more gold so that we can choose which minis we want to progress. You know, we'll have extra gold so we can buy minis from the shop and we'll choose which ones we want to. So it ends up like balancing out. At least I think that it will, okay? We don't know how many mini fragments will be required to get a 3-star mini. It currently takes 7 And if I were to guess, just throw out a number there, I would say it'll take 10 mini fragments to get a 3-star mini. That's just a guess because it's a nice even number that also corresponds perfectly with hero levels. But no matter what ends up happening, when you reset your mini collection, you'll be resetting it for less mini progress than before the update. I have full confidence the developer team is going to do something that just makes sense for everybody. And once again, the limiting factor is heroes and gold, and we are going to get a ton of extra gold and a ton of extra hero fragments just for resetting those minis. So I don't think this is really going to be an issue. Now, I can't tell you guys exactly what you should do. Like, it's going to be a personal decision for all of you, but if it helps you make your decision, I am absolutely going to be resetting my mini fragments, and I'm going to do so for 3 reasons. The first reason is that they are giving us more control to buy the minis that we want from the shop. So I don't think it's going to take me very long to get the 3-star minis that I really want, right? Like, I'm probably not going to upgrade the Dark Goblin immediately. I know the Dark Goblin is actually really fun, but he's just not the strongest. Who knows? We'll have balance changes, but you get the idea. Like, I don't care about my Dark Goblin mini fragments because it's going to translate to more gold, so I can buy more. I don't know. I can upgrade my prince right as soon as possible. Right now, the second reason is that hero progression is the biggest limiting factor in mini progression. So if you want to max out your account sooner than other players, I definitely think you should do it. But the third reason, and honestly my personal biggest reason, is that players who do reset their collection will have a chance to get direct access to the new hero and new minis coming to the game. And for me as a content creator, that's really most important. Like, I have to have the new minis and new heroes as soon as possible. Now, we don't know what those new heroes and minis are going to be. I've actually done a whole video talking about potential future minis that I could absolutely see Clash Mini putting into the game. And honestly, a few of them make a lot of sense for this update. So you guys can check that video out there if you want to. But I do think that I have a solid idea for the theme of this update, and that is water. Most specifically, like ocean, or, you know, like, yeah, the sea. On this image right here where they show the season rank reset, I found a few ocean themed things that I believe to be sneak peeks for the next season, okay? We've got some bubbles on the right, in the lower right, we got some bubbles on the lower left, and then there's some seaweed right next to that bubble on the lower left. And we don't know exactly what this is in the lower left, but I think a pretty solid guess is a treasure chest, right? Like a sunken treasure chest, right? Over on the right, we have some coral, maybe a wooden piece of some sort of a sunken ship. I don't know exactly, but there's a lot of things here that would suggest that this is going to be some sort of a sea-themed aquatic update, right? I could see us getting an aquatic-themed hero. I could see us getting some aquatic-themed minis. The Master League is already water-themed with an anchor and a buoy on it, and I think that it would just make sense they would add some sort of an aquatic-themed board and some special tiles to change the way that some minis work, kind of like the magic mirror or the healing tile or like the electro thing that we get for the Electro Valley board, right? This is all speculation, and I could be way off the boat, pun intended, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is exactly what they did. There's just a lot of, I mean, like, come on. On speculation though, and if it's speculation, right, this is pretty much guaranteed to happen. But let's cover the final couple things that we know is coming to the game, then I'm going to share my opinions on all of this. The developers are changing the pacing of ranked progression, okay? Their goal is to make progression feel faster when you very first start playing, and to slow the ranked progression down a little bit as you climb in higher trophies, okay? And honestly, I think this is really good. I imagine that players will get more trophies in the start, and they'll get fewer trophies at the end with more penalties for losses. So you'll lose more trophies if you do end up losing. I think this is really great because right now there's actually a 15,000 trophy difference between the rank number 1 and rank number 2 player in the game, okay? 15,000 trophy difference, that's insane. For reference, for those of you guys that aren't playing, you don't know, I have like I have just over, I think I have like 2,000 trophies or something like that. I don't know. Before the update, pretty much whoever is playing the most is going to have the most trophies by a long shot, no matter whether they're skilled or not. I mean, I'm not saying that the number 1 player isn't skilled. It's just, he just has a lot of time to play, and that's why he's ranked so high. And that's, honestly, I think that's awesome. And Clash Mini is a great game to play if you're wanting to spend a lot of time playing a game, right? We don't know exactly how this is going to work in the next update, but I think that the developers are making the right decision with this. The last change coming to the game has to do with the progression for new players. So if you haven't played Clash Mini yet, this is actually really good news for you. They're changing things so that the mini progression is going to be slower at the start for new players. I know that sounds bad, but It's being done in a very good way, and it's going to be way less overwhelming, okay? Those new players will have more gold so that they will be able to buy specific minis that they want, and they will choose, like, hey, you know, if you'll be able to choose which minis you want, and that's awesome. I already kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to clarify what that means for anybody that has not played Clash Mini yet. When the game was first released in beta, you would get a ton of 0-star minis right at the very start, and you might have like 0 stars and like 1 stars, maybe a couple 2 stars. Like it was weird because you had no idea which minis to use, you had no idea which ones were good, you had no idea how to counter your opponents, and you didn't understand how the upgrade progression for the minis work and what their star abilities actually worked. It was confusing, it was overwhelming, and now the game is going to help you because you're going to have fewer minis that you're actually going to start out with, but you'll have more progression toward those fewer minis, and you'll have a much better understanding of how the star ability system actually works. It's gonna make a lot more sense, and if it's done right, progression in the game should feel a lot better in the long run, especially once you actually get that gold so that you can start to upgrade your minis and choose which minis you want to get. Because if you see a solid mini, you don't have to hope that you get that mini. You'll be able to choose to get that mini, which I think is awesome. I think the developers are making a lot of really solid decisions with this update. I did a whole video talking about a bunch of issues in the game right now and what is preventing the game from going global. And the number one issue was the sense of progression. It just didn't quite feel right. And I think this progression system is gonna feel a lot smoother and a lot more rewarding. I'm still not sure how I feel about the mini reset. At least happening every single season, but it does seem like the developers are doing it in a way that it will actually help players upgrade their heroes faster, which I am a fan of, okay? Obviously, I spent a bunch of money to get my heroes maxed out as fast as possible so that I could create some content around them and like help you guys know which heroes you should actually focus on upgrading. But for a lot of people, like most people's heroes are stuck around level 4 or 5, if that, right? My hope is that the second season ends up being a little bit faster than the first season so that this end of season progression boost ends up happening more frequently, but I really do think it's going to take a little bit more time for the developer team to find out what the best season length is going to be for the majority of players, okay? I hit the end of season a while ago, and there were players who hit the end of the season way sooner than I did, but then there are also still players who haven't reached it yet, and probably won't reach it before the end of this first season, okay? One of the things that the team did not address in this small talk is whether or not we can expect any new content other than heroes or new minis. We don't know if we'll get any new game modes or better ways to interact with players like clans. Honestly though, I don't think we're going to be getting that this update. I still think the game needs clans and more game modes before the game can go global. I still think we need more minis and more heroes before the game can go global. But the number one most important thing for them to nail down is the feel of the progression system for the game. I don't know if this is the final version for it. I don't know how players are going to feel about it. I haven't tried it yet. So we'll have to see, but even though this next update probably won't feel like a bunch of new content, I think this is probably the most important thing the developer team could be focusing on right now. But I want to know what you guys think about all this. If you're a Clash Mini player, I want to know what you're most excited for and also what you want in this update the most. And if you're not a Clash Mini player, my only guess is that you probably just want the game to go global, okay? Either way, make sure you subscribe for some more Clash Mini news as soon as Supercell lets me release it. Subscribe for Brawl Stars content here, subscribe for Free Fire content right here, and check out this video right here predicting new minis come to the game. There were a couple aquatic ones in there, so it very well could happen. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Clash Mini.